Welcome to Marriage Monday with Jeremiah and Savannah Jennings. The Jennings own Growing Green Landscapes and are very happily married. In this podcast, Jeremiah and Savannah discuss the wins, losses, good times, bad times, and everything in between pertaining to owning a business while maintaining a healthy marriage along the way. We hope you enjoy the show.
What's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode today here on the Growing Green Podcast. This is your host, Jeremiah Jennings, and I am so excited to be coming to you today with another fresh new episode for Marriage Monday. I'm actually going to be rolling solo today. Savannah won't be joining us. Just crazy times in life right now. We both have busy schedules, but she's taking care of Jack right now and wasn't able to make this one. But I think it's going to be a really fun show, even though the life of the party won't be here in Savannah. I know a lot of you love listening to Savannah joining in with us on Mondays. I'm very thankful for her, but she decided to just need to take the week off. So anyway, we're going to roll solo, and I think this is going to be a really fun one today. Thank you for tuning in again on a Monday. I love starting the week off like this. Happy Columbus Day. Whenever it is you're listening, this was recorded on or released on Columbus Day, October the, let's see, what is that date? I'm bad about that. October the 10th. So, anyway, whatever time of the day it is, morning, evening, afternoon, I hope this is of value to you. I hope it's some entertainment and things like that. If you're new to the show, thanks for tuning in. Again, we like to always thank our guests for tuning in. I never want to overlook that as we grow. Never want to forget where we came from, and I never want to forget the people that help us grow to get to where we are now. And so if you are new, there's tons of episodes you can go back and listen to. We're about to hit 150 episodes, so you can go back and listen through. Take you a week or two to catch up if you really listen diligently, and you should catch up pretty quickly. But it could take you a while if you only listen to one a day. So anyway, there are tons of episodes there to catch up and hear some more of our backstory. Savannah and I have been married for 2.5 years. We just had a baby boy named Jack. He's doing well. That is why Savannah's not here on the show today. Taking care of him. And so we've owned a business since 2019 together or 2018. And we're trying to grow, we're trying to expand, trying to diversify income, trying to do all those things that entrepreneurs do. That's what I am down in the core. Savannah is a nurse, a pediatric nurse, and a full-time mom now. So until she goes back to work, she'll go back part-time. And so it's a fun time in life right now where we're at. We are enjoying every second of it, but it's a lot. Lack of sleep is a lot. We've talked about that, so I don't want to get into that too much today. But it is what it is, and so we're excited. We're trying to put out valuable content. We're trying to help everybody else along the way and kind of prepare all of you that aren't in the stage of life of having kids yet. We're going to help you out. If you are in the stage of life of having kids, then I'm looking for help from you. We love taking advice from other parents. We're going to bring some parenting aspects into the show at some point. We're very new parents. Jack's only a month old, so we're still figuring that whole thing out. And we're loving every second of it. We're sleep deprived, but we're rolling and we're growing. Our relationship has already grown 10 times over. I think being a parent brings you so close together. Lots of things, lots of directions we can go with that. But where we want to go today is what I want to talk about today is how to avoid/resolve conflict in marriage or a relationship. It doesn't have to be exclusively marriage. Maybe you're engaged or you're dating, have a serious significant other. How are we going to deal with conflict? Because conflict is something that everyone is going to have. First off, like if you're dating, if you've dated more than 5 minutes, you're gonna have some type of conflict. And I love seeing all these young kids dating, and they're like, they've been dating for like 6 months. Oh, we haven't even had a real fight yet, or haven't had a real argument. Everything's just going smooth. And well, good for you, but it's gonna come. Okay, me and Savannah have never. We're blessed. We've always gotten along pretty well, but we've definitely had our fair share of arguments and intense discussions. But we've always held true to what we know our beliefs are. Divorce is not an option. Divorce will never be an option. That's not even a word in our vocabulary. So we can go ahead and throw that out. That never gets brought up in an argument when we're upset with each other. But we've never really called each other bad names. We've never really cussed each other out. Those are all things that just we said at the beginning of our marriage that we said we're not going to do. And so as frustrated as we get, those are boundaries we never cross, lines we never cross, and we never plan on doing that. But with that being said, times have come up. And through this, it's taught me how to, we got to figure out how to avoid conflict. How are we going to do that? And just some key points. There's a few points that I wrote down. I'm just going to throw out there. Think on them, mull on them for a minute. But what I really want to do is I have a clip today from Jordan Peterson. And if you've listened to Jordan Peterson, you know Jordan Peterson is, he's a man with wisdom way beyond his years. And he's a little bit older, but the stuff he says, everything comes out of his mouth resonates with me, resonates with most people out there. He's just a super, super, super smart dude, and he's very, very knowledgeable. So he is talking about relationships lasting forever and how we can up the quality and up the standards in the relationship. So it's about a 7 to 8 minute clip. We're going to listen to this, and it's got 2 parts to it. So we'll stop halfway through and kind of debrief on the first part. Now, it is a lot. Jordan Peterson talks very deep. This is one of his that's pretty easy to understand. So if you listen to a lot of this stuff, it's kind of like, whoa, what did you just say 30 seconds in? But I think you can really handle this. I think we can all take something from this and learn something. We can all digest it. But it does take some intent listening. So listen diligently here for the next couple of minutes. Listen to Jordan Peterson, and then we want to come back and debrief and then talk about some of these points on how to avoid / resolve conflict in marriage.
You're having an argument with your partner, and you say, you're a stupid person, and you've always been a stupid person, and as far as I can tell, as far into the future as I can see, you're going to remain a stupid person. So what are they supposed to do? What are they going to do when you say that? They're going to cry, like if you mean it. They're going to get angry, if you mean it, and they're not going to like you very much. And why is that? Well, it's like, it's assault. Basically, the only thing that you can do in a situation like that is walk away, ignore it, respond in kind, or it degenerates into violence. That's it. Because there's no discussion. You haven't left the person anywhere to go. You've gone right to the top of their hierarchy and said everything about you is wrong, and worse than that, all the mechanisms that we could use to correct it won't work. So, those are fighting words. So don't do that unless you want to have a fight. So then you might say, well, what would you do instead? And the answer is, deliver the least amount of information you possibly can. And so let's say you come home and your person is watching TV, and you're kind of hoping they'd greet you at the door. You shouldn't break down into tears and say, you're a stupid person, you've always been a stupid person, and you're going to be a stupid person in the future. You should say, I have this peculiarity, and that is that when I come home, I don't have enough confidence to just be happy. I would like you to come and say, just shut the TV off for 2 minutes, come to the front door and say, hello. And then you can go back and watch your TV. Would it be okay if you did that? And they'll think, well, you'll have to pay for it somehow. But then they'll probably do it. And so, but the thing is you got to specify the routine that you want transformed at the highest possible level of resolution. And you want to recommend the minimal necessary change that will satisfy you.
He had completely shut me out, said that he never wanted to speak to me again. I was blocked on texting and social.
So you can't say, if you loved me, you'd know how to greet me at the door. Ha, not helpful, because they're stupid. Right, and so are you. So you have to spell it out. It's like, what do you want? Exactly, what would make you satisfied? And then you have to have your person like grudgingly practice that a few times, and you have to let them do it very badly and also in a bad temper, and then you have to reward them for it, and then maybe 3 months later they'll do it properly. But people love reward, and they love attention. People love attention more than anything else. And so if you watch through the day, and when your partner does something that's good, say, man, that was good, or something like that. You can be inventive, and then they'll do it more. And if you do that a whole bunch, like for a year, they'll be doing things that are good for you just all the time. But you have to be patient, which is very annoying, and you have to suppress your response to only respond to negative things. You know, because what we know about the expectancy models is that a deviation from expectation produces a burst of negative emotions. You know, so you come home and the whole house is clean, but there's like, I don't know, the dog has shed on the rug or something, and the person overlooked that. It's like, you're not going to see the clean house, you're going to see the rug with the dog fur on it. You're going to say, why didn't you clean up the rug with the dog fur? And they're going to say, good luck getting me to clean up the house again. And you know, because the thing is the exception stands out, and what's done doesn't. And the reason for that is you can just ignore what's done because it's done. It doesn't get in your way. So it gets invisible really quickly. So you really got to watch that tendency. One of the things Nietzsche said was that if you really want to punish someone, you don't punish them when they do something wrong, because they expect that. That's not a punishment. They expect that. They might even be relieved by it. You want to punish them when they do something right, because then you'll really hurt them. And so that's something to think about. If you're in a relationship, man, if someone's done something right, do not punish them. You do that 2 or 3 times, and that's it, man. You're not going to get them to do that anymore. So, judiciousness. Watch what they're doing. If something happens that's good, notice it. And, if they've done a bunch of things, don't concentrate on the things they did wrong. That's not smart. It's really hard on them, too. This, in some sense, this sounds manipulative and selfish, because I'm teaching you how to train your partner. But also teach them how to train you. Because it would be really nice if you could come home and the person would say, well, what did you do today? And you say, here's a bunch of things I did. And they say, well, this looks really good and that was great. And why don't you do some more of that? And you're like, oh boy, it was a great day. And so, you can train them to train you properly. And that's a really helpful thing, especially if you do it over a few years. That's how you have a good relationship, because you're both clueless as hell to begin with. You don't know even what would make you happy, much less what would make the other person happy. And so you got to figure these things out bit by bit, and then you have to inform each other, and then you have to be patient enough to let your partner do these things really badly. I'll give you another example. Sometimes I see couples sporadically in my clinical practice.
So that's the first half of it there, and I think that is some really, really good stuff that's packed in there. And before we dive really too deep into it, I think it all goes back to communication. People get so tired of me saying communication is the key to everything here in relationships, but I think it really is. I think communication, without proper communication, a relationship will never, ever survive. There are a lot more other aspects that go into it, but communication is key. So what he said there, I think the biggest thing that spoke to me was notice the good things. When somebody does the good things, if you really want, it's what Nietzsche said there, his quote, if you want to punish somebody, punish them for what they did right. Don't punish them for what they did wrong, because if you do something wrong, I'm expecting punishment for that. But if I go and, like he said, clean the house, but I've missed one spot on the rug, well, they're going to notice that one spot on the rug. And so you're really punishing someone if you don't notice the good things and you just only notice the bad things. I think that can be detrimental to a relationship. I think it can be detrimental to your significant other's mental health. If they're always trying to please you and strive to think that they want to do what you want them to do and things like that, but you're just never happy is seriously what it comes down to there. So that was one of the biggest things I think that I took away from that whole little quote there. And so some tips that I had on just taking and implementing into my life of how to avoid conflict is remember to notice the good things. And so that's, like I said, notice when your spouse does something right without being asked. And it's kind of like, we're all mammals, we're all humans. I think we're kind of like dogs. Like when your dog does something good and you're training him, you give it a treat. You say good job, and they keep doing it, and they keep doing it, and you keep doing it. And then eventually, like you said, 6 months, a year later, they just do it because they know that's what they're supposed to do, and they know that you like that. So I know it's a weird analogy there, but it's kind of true. Like we do the good things, and when you notice the good things, when the good things are noticed by your significant other or your spouse, then it's going to make you want to do them more because you want to make them happy.
Do you have the confidence to bid for and land commercial contracts? Hey friends, it's Marty, and at LaunchpreneurAcademy.com, we want to help you unlock the opportunity to capture more commercial work. Brian has a training program that not only provides you access to the lawn care, landscaping, commercial contract that he uses in his biz, but you're also going to get access to an explainer video where he shows you exactly how to use this contract and help you earn more from area businesses and companies. Now is the time of the year to lock in commercial work, and this contracting strategy will help you do just that. Open up the doors to unlimited possibility with your lawn and landscaping business and approach commercial work with confidence with this extremely affordable commercial contract. Download it today for just $49 at the Launchpreneur Academy. A quick link is in the show notes.
tips to avoid conflict. Take time to think about your response to whatever it is that will make you upset. So if you're sitting there having a conversation and your spouse says something and it upsets you, like, I don't know, take out the garbage, or I'm doing this, will you take out the garbage? And you didn't like that. You had other plans for the day. Well, take time to think about, like, stop for 2 seconds and think about what you're going to say before you say it. That's something that I think is that responses that aren't necessary, like unnecessary, rude responses, I think are one of the leaders into conflict arising, because when conflict arises, it's normally because one of you, I mean, you obviously you don't agree with each other, but then the other one says something mean or says something in a wrong attitude or wrong tone. So when somebody says something that upsets you, you don't want to make the fire worse. You don't want to put grease you don't want to put water on a grease fire. So take time to think about your response. So if the fire's already started, you don't want to pour water on the grease fire. You don't want to respond in the wrong way. You don't want to clap back with something that is just out off the tip of your tongue, but it sounds good, but then it's really hurtful for them. So think about whatever it is. Think about your response, how you're going to respond, and then respond in the correct manner. Because if it's spoken out of compassion and concern for whatever the issue is, then it's most likely not going to upset your spouse if you approach it the right way. But if it's said out of anger or just like retaliation, trying to get back at what you just said because you don't like what they said, well, then there's a different issue there. And then your spouse is just going to come back, and then you're going to get in a downward cycle, and you're going to spin and spin and spin out of control. And then you're going to be in some serious conflict for the rest of the evening or whenever it is. Another thing that I had there is hear your spouse needs. That's something that I think me and Savannah have had to work on for all 2.5 years and probably will forever, is you need to figure out what each other needs and what each other's needs are. And so the 5 love languages, does everybody know what the 5 love languages are? I know one of them is, let me see here, I'm just going to look it up real fast so I can read off the list to you. So I'm not inaccurate with what I'm saying. Is that a word? But 5 love languages, words of affirmation. So words of affirmation are saying thank you for something, or they are, hey, you look pretty today, or you look good. And so the words of affirmation, I think, that's definitely one of my love languages. It's like what we said, notice the good things. If I clean the house, I want you to come in and say thank you to me. I just want the appreciation. I want the acknowledgement of knowing that I did something and that you acknowledge it. That's really all I need. I don't need anything else other from you than just, hey, notice it. And so I wish Savannah was on the show. We might do another show on this, just talking about love languages. But that's one for me. Physical touch, that's a big one for a lot of guys out there. Some women goes that way, but physical touch is a big one. Acts of service, that one's a pretty big one. Offering one's time, energy, or resources to benefit the other one without expectation. Gifts, so giving gifts. Gifts is not one of mine. I hate giving gifts. I hate receiving gifts. I hate gifts, period. And then quality time, one-on-one time spent together, sharing experiences together as an expression of love. We're going to circle back to quality time here at the end of the show when Jordan goes on for another 2 minutes or so talking about spending quality time together. But those are needs. Those are all needs. Those are all categories of needs that our spouses have, your significant other has. And if you don't know how to meet those needs, then it's going to be hard to have a healthy marriage. You're going to have a lot of conflict because your spouse wants one thing. If you can't give her that one thing or him that one thing, then it's going to feel like they're never happy because they're always searching. They're always trying to find just that one thing. They want you to come to that one thing. And things like that. So hear each other's needs, acknowledge each other's needs, and then figure out how to meet them. How can we get better? Talk about it. Talk about how I can help you. How can I further get to the point where you want me to be? Like, how can I get better every single day? Because I think a marriage it's 2 ends to it. It's you're in and your spouse is in, and you have to always be working to get better. You have to always be growing, trying to grow. And if you're not growing, then you're going backwards. I think if you get stagnant in marriage, then it's not gonna be healthy for very long. It's gonna come back to bite you in the long run. And then one other thing I had written down, this kind of circles back to what we talked about a few minutes ago, is think about what was said in context. So if your spouse says something or snaps at you, think about in context what they said. Because if they said something rude, but it came out of right after a phone call that they didn't want to receive, or your kid did something, broke a lamp or something, well, your spouse probably isn't taking that out on. They're not trying to take it out on you, but they are. So if your kid threw a ball and broke the lamp, well, and so here's an example, real life example of us, is our dog Murphy. I don't know what his obsession is. He just turned a year old, but his obsession with chewing things is insane. It's only certain things, though. Shoes, he won't touch. We'll leave shoes out all day. He will not touch them. Blankets, things like that, nothing like that he will chew. But when it comes to windowsills and remotes, they're the best thing in the world to him. If any of you ever come to our house, and I'm sure there's a few of you listening that have been here, anybody local to us, but and Paul Jameson probably knows this if he's listening in. He's stayed over here a couple days in the past. Our windowsills are destroyed because Murphy sits and looks out the window and lays his head on the window and chews the windowsills. And I don't know what it is about it, but he loves the windowsills. And then he loves TV remotes. I swear we've gone through 7 or 8 TV remotes in the last 6 months. And I know you say, well, just put the TV remote up. But that's harder to do. That's easier said than done. When you sit there, you turn it off, you lay it on the coffee table, you lay it on the couch, and you forget about it. Well, we come home, and they're chewed up everywhere. So, I mean, the first time he did it, they were destroyed. Like, there was no remote left. Like, there were just few pieces of plastic. Luckily, he did not eat the batteries, so we were okay there. He digested everything was fine. But every time he hasn't eaten the batteries, which we've been very blessed with. But seriously, we've gone through 5 or 6 TV remotes. It's kind of gotten ridiculous. Now we just use the remote. We got an app on our phone, and that's what we use moving forward until he gets out of this chewing stage. With all that being said, that's a long story there to tell you. We have definitely had some conflict and some arguments after those incidents because we've been frustrated with Murphy for chewing up the windowsill or chewing up a TV remote, and we've taken it out on each other because we've said something. We've taken what we've said out of context. Take it into context. Put it in context. I'm mad at the dog. I'm not mad at you, but it comes out that way. So we have to be, it's like I said, two-way relationship there. I have to grow and learn not to take it out on my spouse. I need to channel that towards Murphy or just don't say it at all. Keep it in. And if I do let it out, then my spouse, Savannah, has to sit there and listen and say, okay, he's not mad at me. I don't need to clap back with something that's going to be rude or make things worse. I just need to take it and be okay with it. And I'm not saying, oh, would you take the abuse from your husband? I'm not saying that at all. I don't want any of those messages. I'm saying she needs to realize, and I need to realize if it's reversed, that she's not really mad at me. He's not really mad at me. We're just working through this time. It's something to put it in context. That's the point of there. I'm not going to sit here and go in circles. Put it in context, and I think that will really help you a lot. So that's how to avoid conflict, in my opinion. Those are a few points there. Tips to resolving conflict. Be slow to speak. That goes back to what we kind of just finished there. So kind of transition is slow to speak when you do say things. Like if you respond the wrong way, if you clap back with something that you shouldn't, that's going to cause conflict. So if you do cause it, how to resolve it is just not say it so rudely. Like if you want to resolve things, then just think about how you say things. Is if conflict has already started, be slow to speak. Be slow to say every word you say coming out your mouth at that point could either add or take away to the fire. And you want to be taking away as much as you can. You want to be putting a fire extinguisher on it. You want to be putting that fire out. So be slow to speak. Be smart in what you say. Compromise. You have to compromise a lot when it comes to conflict and building relationships. There's a lot of give and take there. You have to compromise about things that you do or don't want to do. If Savannah wants me to take the trash out, but I want her to clean the house, well, we got to find some kind of conflict there. I mean, some kind of compromise there because that's not really even. Taking the trash out, her cleaning the house, like there's a little bit more on one side than the other there. So got to find some compromise, and then we also have to admit wrong. We have to admit when each other is wrong. This is resolution. Resolving conflict is. A lot of it comes back to you have to admit when you're wrong. If you do something wrong, then own up to it. Admit it. Take the blame. Say I was wrong. How can I get better? How can we further and move on from this? So those are a few quick things from how to avoid, how to resolve. I want to listen to these last 2 minutes here of Jordan Peterson talking about parenting and things like that, and you'll hear what he's about to say, and then we'll kind of talk about it here as we wrap the show up.
Couples counselor. And so, but sometimes when I'm working with someone, there's an issue that needs to be discussed with both people, because otherwise it's just stupid. And one of the things I often recommend to people, especially once they have kids, is that they set aside, to use an anachronistic phrase, date nights. Well, everyone hates that idea. It's like they say, well, they'll just say I'm not doing that. That would be one objection. We're just not doing that. That's what we did before we got married. They'll say, well, my partner would never go for that. They've got a bunch of excuses why that isn't going to work. And so I've heard all those excuses. I know all of them. And then maybe I convince them, yeah, sure, I know this is stupid, it's awkward, it's artificial. That's okay, just try it once. So then they go and try it, and then they come back and they say, we had an absolutely miserable time. Really, we had a miserable time. We couldn't agree on what movie to go to, and then, she took me to her movie, and I really didn't like it, so we fought all the way home. We're never doing that again. And I say, well, really, you've got 30 years, 400 days, that's 12,000 days. Okay, so you're not going to do that. You're going to spend the next 12,000 days without having any real romantic evenings and interactions with your spouse. That's your plan. People can go for a long time with no romance at all. Say, well, no, maybe we'd like some of that. Well, how much? Once a year? Well, no. Once a month? Well, no. Once every 2 weeks? Well, sometimes people are really busy. It's like, okay, that beats the hell out of 0. Once a week, twice a week. Okay, whatever. We're gonna start with a range. Okay, what would a good evening look like? Like if you could both get exactly what you wanted, what would it look like? Well, then they have to think about that, because the previous theory was my stupid partner should know what I like, and that's what the partner is thinking too. It's like, good luck with that, because no, they don't have a clue, especially if they're men, they don't have a clue. So you have to tell them what you want and how they could deliver it, and vice versa, which is very awkward and horrible. And then you have to practice it for 6 months. Because, it takes a lot of practice to do something sophisticated really well. And then if you do that, it's like, poof, you got it for the rest of your life.
So that's good. I think that is a good way to wrap up the show there. So he's talking about, and we've talked about on the show, date nights. If you listen to any other podcast in our industry, in our realm, Caleb and Brittany Allman there, Brian and Liz Fullerton, Naylor Taylor Farrow at LCR. All those guys talk about date nights and spending time out from the business. And so I think that is huge. I think that's something that me and Savannah have worked on and try to work on. We actually got to go on our first date while we were at the beach this week without Jack. So we left him with his grandmother, with Savannah's mom. And it was a great time. It was a great time to get away for an hour and a half and just kind of relax and just focus on us for a little bit. And so we really tried to not have arguments. And we'll talk about this on another show when Savannah comes back. But one of our biggest arguments that we always have is where we're going to eat, because Savannah wants to eat healthy, and I'm not really that much. I'm definitely trying to get better about food choices. But I'll be fine to go anywhere pretty much. Like if there's food, I'll eat it. And I'm kind of picky, but I'll eat. There's somebody always has a burger or chicken finger, something like that. So I can eat anything like that. But Savannah always wants something healthy for the most part. She's very very persistent and diligent to working out and eating healthy and putting good things in her body. So it's always an argument. That's literally one of our biggest arguments that we have, is where we eat. And so that's what we were doing. We were going to lunch. And so we really tried our hardest to not argue about where we were going to eat. And we didn't. We had about a 3-minute span of like trying to figure it out, and we worked through it. And we figured it out. We went, and then we had a good evening, a good day out. But that is something that I think is crucial, is you don't need to make excuses. We can make excuses and say, well, Jack's here, Jack's tired, Jack needs to eat this, that, and the other. We're tired, let's take a nap. We're at the beach, I don't want to go spend the money. Like, those are all excuses that we could be made to not go out. But I think that is 100% time that we should be spending away from the kids. And so, like I say, from the kids. We have one kid, and he's 5 weeks old. But I'm just saying, a lot of you out there I know have older kids than us. You have multiple kids. Please, please, please take time to just have a few minutes away from them, because I know, and I hate trying to relate to y'all, because we're 22 and 24. We have a 5-week-old. We don't know anything about anything when it comes to parenting. We're just trying to work our way through it and take things from others that we've learned. What we've learned and what I know from the 5 weeks that we've had is it's a lot, and it's a lot with one. I can't imagine a lot with 5, and what it would be like with 5. So take the time away, take the 30 minutes once a week or whatever, go out to eat, grab a bite, leave the kids with a grandmother, babysitter, whatever it is. Just don't make excuses. Like, it doesn't have to be expensive. It can be McDonald's, but it could be, or it could be driving around looking at Christmas lights as the holidays arrive. Like, just go drive around town without the kids and just spend time together. And so I think that is huge, is you have to spend time together. You have to spend quality time together, not just time sitting on the couch scrolling while your kids are playing on the floor. Like, get out, focus on each other, leave the phones, put them down, spend time together. And then the last thing I want to say here, and then we'll wrap the show up, is hear the expectations from the other about what they want to do for a good evening. What would that mean to them? If it's something you want to do but you know your spouse hates it, like a good day for me would be going to play golf. That would be quality time together. But Savannah doesn't want to do that. Savannah does not want to go sit in a golf cart for 4 hours in the heat and ride around. So that would not be quality time for her. So AKA, that would not be quality time for us. If there's only one of us there, then not good quality time. Well, I don't want to go walk around Target for 4 hours either. And so that would not be quality time for me. It would be quality time for her, but not for me. So we have to compromise, do things that we both want to do, find things that we both want to do, find things in common, try new things, go down that road, and then you'll find out a lot about your spouse when you try new things and you learn a lot about them, what they really like to do. Communicate what your needs are. What your expectations for your night out is. So hear the expectations of what they're saying, but then communicate them very, very well, very plainly as well. So I know that's hard. I know it's a lot. It's kind of been a packed show. I didn't expect it to go this long, but Jordan Peterson, like I said, man, when he gets on a roll, and it's really good stuff. So apologies for the ad there in the middle, and I do want to give credit to the YouTube channel that came from, which was Chaos and Order. They got 130,000 subscribers. So if you want to look up the video and watch it again, it is Jordan Peterson, Make Your Relationships Last Forever by doing this. Chaos and Order is the channel that it came from. So was just watching that, listening, and I said, hey, this would be a really good topic for the show today. So it kind of went hand in hand with what I had for the show. So this has been a fun one. 30 minutes here going strong. Thank you to Brian at Launchpreneur Academy for partnering with us. Launchpreneur Academy Live is coming up right around the corner. So we got Equip next week. We got LAL in just over a month. Very excited to come up there. This is actually my first trip up there. So the last 2 years I've been coaching basketball, and we've had tournaments that week, so I couldn't get away. But this year, that's not the case. We are very, very excited to make the trip up there. Hope to see a lot of you guys up there. Check out LaunchpreneurAcademy.com for all things that you need to start or grow a business, lawn care business, snow removal, things like that. There's a lot of good stuff there. I've used a lot of his resources, honestly. I've booked a coaching call with Brian, booked multiple coaching calls with Brian, and so moving forward, we will definitely be using Launchpreneur Academy, and I hope you do out there as well, because it's a very, very good resource for the future. Stay tuned for some new things that's coming down the pike. I'm sure Brian will come out with, he always drops something a couple times a year, so it's about that time of year for something to be dropping. So stay tuned for that. I'm sure there's be something of value there. I'm trying to think of any notes we need to hit here, wrap up the show, but I think that's it. Like I said, Jordan Peterson, Chaos and Order is where that came from. If you did enjoy the show, leave us a 5-star rating and review. Those really do help us grow and boost out there to the community. When they look on the podcast, they say, hey, 50, 7,500 views, that looks good. Let's tune in. And so we can continue to grow the community one relationship at a time. It's so hard for me to get that phrase out. I don't know why it is. One day I'm going to get it perfect. But this is real life, guys. This is real stuff. Thank you for tuning in with us. Hey, Savannah wasn't here today, but we still got to get a show out, and we wanted to make it a value. So I didn't want to do like some 10-minute little. I know the last couple shows have been like they've been kind of dead. They haven't been really that action-packed, that value-packed. It's just been a lot adjusting to life here at home. But now that we're kind of settled down, we're going to plan on bringing on some more guests, bringing in some really good value here moving forward, and getting back into the swing of things. So thank you for the support on Marriage Mondays. I really didn't know how this was going to go 18 weeks ago or 19 weeks ago now when we did this, almost half a year, which is crazy. I didn't know how this was going to go. I didn't know if it was going to be well received or not. I expected a fraction of our downloads for what we get on a normal show. Well, turns out this is honestly just as high, if not higher, than our normal show downloads. So some of you out there love it at least. So if you do love it, give us some feedback. What do you want to hear talked about? Those are topics that we like to hear discussed. Is we can talk about things like this. We can come up with topics, but I want to really relate with you, relate with the community out there. How can we help you grow? How can we help you in your marriage and your business? So if there's any way we can do that, you can shoot us an email. That's in the link in the show notes today. DM me on Instagram at Growing Green Landscapes, any of that stuff, and we will always connect and move forward and look forward to building more relationships as we grow. So without any further ado, I think that is going to wrap this one up, and we look forward to catching up with everybody here on the next episode.